What's poppin', everybody? Welcome back to Retro Glance, the show where we take a step back to revisit games past to see if time has altered our perceptions. Were games harshly criticized, overhyped, or do they stand the test of time? In this episode, we're shining the bat signal on Batman Arkham Origins, a game that at its release received some mixed reviews from critics and fans alike. Batman Arkham Origins was released in 2013 and is often considered the black sheep of the acclaimed Batman Arkham series. Developed by WB Games Montreal instead of the original Rocksteady Studios, it featured a younger, less experienced Batman voiced by Roger Craig Smith instead of the iconic Kevin Conroy, which many believe led to the game receiving some significant skepticism from fans of the Caped Crusader. In this video, we're strapping on our collective capes and cowls to take a look at the game's story, why it initially received unfavorable fan reactions, and whether it deserves a second chance. Let's discuss. But before we do, cue that intro. Arkham Origins is set early in Batman's career, possibly during his year 1. In this installment, the Dark Knight finds himself being hunted by 8 of the most dangerous villains from his rogues gallery. What set this game apart is that Batman encounters a lot of these villains for the first time, providing a fresh take on his early years as a vigilante. Now, despite initial reservations, the game's narrative was well received by many fans. Some even hail it as one of the best in the entire Arkham series. The storyline manages to capture the essence of Batman's early days and provides players with a deeper understanding of the character's development as he faces these formidable foes. However, as previously mentioned, Arkham Origins faced criticism primarily due to 2 main factors, and a few others. Rocksteady Studios, the developer behind the highly successful Arkham Asylum and Arkham City, handed over the reins to WB Montreal for this installment. Unbeknownst at the time, the reason behind this decision was because Rocksteady was already busy at work with their next big project, Batman Arkham Knight. However, that didn't prevent fans from sharing their concerns that a new developer probably wouldn't live up to the standards set by Rocksteady in the previous games. I've also heard fans say that this felt a little cash grabby because it came off as another big studio just trying to churn out another installment of a beloved franchise without giving it its just due. And I'm gonna be kinda honest, at the time, it kind of felt that way. Kevin Conroy, known for his iconic voice as Batman in the previous Arkham games and the animated series, did not reprise his role. Instead, Roger Craig Smith voiced a younger Batman. While it made sense for the prequel's narrative, fans were attached to Kevin Conroy's portrayal. Now, I personally like Roger Craig Smith's performance. It bothered me at first because I'm a die-hard Batman the Animated Series fan, but while I was playing the game, I started to warm up to his portrayal of the character, and I thought he did a great job. It's even more interesting when I saw this IGN, I think it was an IGN interview. I'll plug the clip here for you guys to see it, but he talked about how terrified and exciting he was at the same time to do this performance, and I like stuff like that, so I kind of had a new appreciation for his performance.
Ah, Batman. I've used the word surreal so many times to describe what that was like, but getting the call that you got cast as the voice of Batman in an upcoming game is both exhilarating and scary as all get out, because you know that Kevin Conroy has established this character so much in the animated world, in the interactive world.
Every decision you've ever made ends with death and misery.
And that so many other people have lent their voice to this character before you that it's going to be like, what a cool feather in your cap from a career perspective. But also, man, oh man, oh man, I hope that I do this justice to the point where fans will understand what we were attempting to do with this particular project. You're trying different things. You're taking different approaches to how you would deliver a certain line, trying to give them variations on it and be malleable. But yeah, we clearly took our time on that first week. I just recall us trying to go down a few different paths as far as which version we were going to go with, and we finally settled on something that would make really good sense for it being, since it's an origin story. This is where we can understand that this version of Batman will be what Kevin, and with Troy's performance as Joker, what Mark had established as the Joker, that we go, okay, I can see where these characters would become those characters that we know, especially in the Arkham universe.
Now, while those 2 reasons are the main complaints I've heard over the years, I did some sleuthing and I discovered some other factors that could have led to the game getting an unfair shake. Sleuthing just sounds weird, doesn't it? Now, some fans felt the game was reminiscent of Arkham City, but it lacked its expansive scale. Many thought the game looked unpolished and was very janky, which I don't necessarily agree with. The game had its fair share of texture pop-ins and minor bugs, but so did Arkham Asylum and Arkham City before it. Not to say the graphics were amazing, but it wasn't as bad as people were making it out to be. Now this complaint I found somewhat hilarious, and it was the perceived lack of differentiating the core gameplay mechanics from its predecessor. However, considering the subsequent release of Gotham Knights recently and the reactions that received, yeah, and they actually tried to differentiate themselves from the Arkham franchise. So that was a very interesting criticism. In my opinion, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Something important to note as well was the fact that this game was released on Xbox 360 and PS3 a mere months before its next gen release, the Xbox One and the PS4, a timing that may have undercut the impact of this installment. This event not only affected Arkham Origins, but it also had implications for another cherished franchise of mine, something we'll explore in a future video. So if y'all want to make sure you don't miss that video, be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell. Thanks. But enough about the criticism. Let's get into what we really want to talk about, and that's the gameplay. Was it any good? What? I don't know if it's because I missed the Arkham series and this is my first time doing a full playthrough of Arkham Origins, so everything just feels like a new experience for me, but it felt really good to don the cape and cowl one more time. Arkham Origins had a very strong foundation to build from, and it's very evident here. The signature combat system remains consistently gratifying, offering a sense of satisfaction as you build up momentum and string together combos. The integration of gadgets seamlessly mixing and matching with a diverse array of attacks adds to the locomotive assault on enemies. In short, very dope. Now, one of the biggest highlights from the Arkham series for me is the boss fights. The Mr. Freeze fight in Arkham City stands out as one of the best in the franchise, but I'm gonna go off on a limb and say that Arkham Origins has the best boss fight in the franchise, and that's the fight with Deathstroke. Bro, mano a mano, no henchmen, just you and one of the baddest assassins in the DC universe squaring off. It was glorious. Bane and Copperhead had their day in the sun too, but there was something about this fight that was just amazing. You could tell that these guys were evenly matched. Stealth, which as you know is a core feature of the Arkham series, remains enjoyable as ever in the Arkham Origins. The game continues to provide players with the option to leverage gadgets and the environment, empowering them to embody the ultimate predator when dispatching groups of enemies. While there may not be significant changes to the stealth mechanic, it's perfectly acceptable given that the stealth gameplay was pretty damn good to begin with. Origins tried to differentiate itself from its predecessor mainly when it comes to the detective mode. This time around, there was a heightened emphasis on the mechanic, particularly when it came to recreating the holographic crime scene. Players were granted full control, allowing them to pause, fast forward, rewind time within the holographic recording, offering the ability to scrutinize specific points for crucial clues. This innovative feature, allowing for more nuanced investigation, was later incorporated in Arkham Knight. Something that this game did very well that often goes unnoticed is being the sole Arkham game that has a multiplayer mode in the form of Invisible Predator Online. This unique feature centers around a gang war set in Blackgate Prison, pitting the notorious villains Joker and Bane against each other. The game unfolds as a 3v3 match featuring Joker's gang versus Bane's gang, with Batman and Robin forming a distinct team, essentially making it a 3v3v2 dynamic. The objective as Batman and Robin is to accumulate intimidation points by eliminating gang members, while the opposing gang aiming to achieve victory by eliminating their rivals. Gang members have an added advantage of using guns and explosives and can ascend to the role of boss, essentially becoming Joker or Bane with enhanced abilities. While on the other side, the Cape Crusaders utilizes gadgets from the main storylines to counteract the gang and emerge victorious. If not, God help Gotham. Now that we've revisited Batman Arkham Origins and its initial reception, the question arises, is it worth playing? Now in hindsight, it's clear that many fans were too quick to dismiss this installment, myself included. While it may not have been developed by Rocksteady and lacked Conroy's voice, it brought a fresh perspective to the Batman universe. The prequel concept allowed for a more vulnerable and less experienced Batman, exploring his growth into the Cape Crusader we know today. The game has an engaging enough story which introduces Batman to his iconic villains and is a compelling reason to give the game a shot. While similar to previous entries, the gameplay mechanic still offers an enjoyable experience, and if you're a fan of the Batman lore, you will appreciate the rich character development and interactions. In the end, Batman Arkham Origins deserves a second look. It might not surpass the achievements of its predecessor, but it is still a solid addition to the Arkham series, offering a unique take on the early years of Gotham's Dark Knight. So if you're a fan of Batman and the Arkham series, don't let initial skepticism deter you from exploring this underrated gem in the franchise. Now I'll turn things over to you. Was there something you liked that I missed in this video? Or are you one of the people that liked the game when it first came out and you still like it today? Share your opinions in the comment section below. If there are any other amazing games you'd like me to take a closer look at in these Retro Glance episodes, drop me a message on Twitter or catch me on twitch.tv/KASHCROE. Also, if you're interested in becoming a producer of upcoming Retro Glance or How It Ended episodes, be sure to check out my Patreon. You'll find the links in the description below. Once again, thank you guys for watching. It's been your boy Cash, and like always, play on, player. Peace.